Got a late edition Dave Rubin clip if you wanted me to.
Oh God, let's do it. I mean, now apparently, is Jordan Peterson been banned from Twitter or something?
Yeah, he's banned for basically being an anti-trans bigot against Elliot Page. We have that too. We can get
clearly into. I think tweeting this on purpose so one can get banned and claim, right? I mean that's yeah. I mean, they all understand the terms of service at this point. They're just hoping that they can get a 48-hour suspension, and then it's a bit of a gravy train for the next few days. I've been censored.
Yeah, exactly. Dave Rubin and Crowder are both on it. So here's the thing he's censored for. I'll put it up. And it was a tweet says, and I guess I'll read it.
Just read it.
Remember when pride was a sin and Ellen Page, he calls him, just had her breast removed by a criminal physician. So dead names Elliot Page and calls the physician a criminal physician. And there's nothing beside that would make you call that physician a criminal physician, except if you think any sort of trans affirming care is criminal. And Peterson just has to delete that tweet and he can get his Twitter back. And he said he's not going to.
Because he's a warrior and he stands for things. And it's so coincidental. It's so coincidental that he is being censored at this time, aka censoring himself and making a big deal about it, at the same time that his Daily Wire Plus show launches.
One other irony I would just note before we get into this Rubin thing is Jordan Peterson, the only reason anybody knew his name is because he was hyperventilating hysterically about a pro-trans bill that said you should maybe be towards your students who identify, you should just accept their pronouns. Jordan Peterson said that was part of a Marxist plot somehow, and he will go to jail over that. And now he's saying any doctors who provide trans-affirming care are criminals.
Right. I mean, but people should understand where he's traversed here, right? His whole complaint was like, you can't make me say a pronoun just because that person wants a pronoun. I'm not going to do that.
That's a slippery slope.
And now it's no longer about him because it doesn't make a damn difference to Jordan Peterson's life how Elliot Page identifies or what he has done to transition. It doesn't implicate anything in Jordan Peterson's life. But so he's moved from, you can't impose this on me, to I'm going to impose it on him or her or whatever.
Yeah.
And that is the natural progression, right? I mean, you start with it's an offense to me, but really we know what it is.
Yep.
Here is Dave Rubin.
They had a big long sit down yesterday called "Gay Parenting: Promises and Pitfalls," I believe was the title of it.
Oh, okay.
This is a part of like them trying to integrate Peterson fully into Daily Wire Plus.
We have to, when I see this now, suddenly, like, when we announced that we were having kids, there was some pushback online from more religious people on the right. By the way,
pause it. Some pushback?
Some
pushback.
Some can be a lot, or some can be a
most
little.
Comments.
But in this case, it was pretty much all of his fans.
I mean, to be fair, there was probably like 25% that were like, I support you, Dave, but those comments were vastly outnumbered. You can go check the video.
Yep.
Well, some pushback.
People on the right. By the way, 99% of it was all anonymous people. It was virtually nobody certainly nobody that I knew. There were one or two people that had blue checks on Twitter, but it was all these people.
Pause it. I'm sorry.
Talking.
The people that he does know, though, like Ben Shapiro, said that they would never go to his wedding. So, but there were also people that he didn't know who were also insulting.
Also, his boss was very clearly like, I don't support you fully, but like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Glenn Beck, saying like, it's all right, Glenn, it's all right.
And he says blue checks like they're liberals. No, it was like blue check conservatives that were like, what is this?
Totally.
Yeah, but
blue checks on Twitter, but it was all these people, talking about the sanctity of marriage and all of these things. But I'm sympathetic to conservatives who go, boy, we let gay marriage happen, and look what's happened since. Now we're into all this gender stuff, and they're literally teaching gender theory to 5-year-olds who know nothing about gender.
Let's also be clear. They didn't let gay marriage happen. It was the Supreme Court, and they're going to try and reverse it. And They literally did everything they could to run on it in 2004, successfully, I think, to bring out the evangelicals. George Bush called for a constitutional amendment on primetime public television. But, that is history that is almost 8 years old or 10 years old or 15 years old. So you can't expect Dave to know any of that.
Literally teaching gender theory to 5-year-olds who know nothing about gender or sex or anything else. I see it. I see what they were worried about. And unfortunately, the left, you tweeted out something a couple of weeks ago. I was never a conservative until the liberals decided there were no rules. I'm paraphrasing you roughly. But I'm sympathetic to that. So much of all of the things that we knew, we no longer know at a societal level, apparently. So what do we do going back to the conservatives that were worried that this is where we were going to end up? In some sense, I should probably be their greatest hero because it's like, oh, here's someone who wanted to enter civilized society, wanted to affirm most of the long-fought, time-tested ideals, wanted to enter the world with those things, help defend that world. It happens to be a little different than we would think, right? Yeah. Okay, it's two guys. I can't deny it. I should sort of be a hero to them. It's not the ideal one that they went for, but it's approximately close enough that this should be pretty good. I suppose that will be my challenge in life.
Well, I also think that's probably true. But you also said earlier that as far as you're concerned, they also have a point.
There is a point there.
Okay, so what's the point?
Well, there has to be a point there because, look, gay marriage was legalized, I think, at a federal level in the United States in 2015, if I'm not mistaken. So that we're now 7 years off of that. Right. And look at all of the craziness that has happened since. I am not directly connecting it to that. But when you change fundamental structures, some weird things are going to happen. This is, again, where I would lay most of the blame here. I would lay on the sort of liberal establishment where nobody was willing to defend anything.
It reminds me of when you have a friend who's dating somebody that nobody likes, right? And they're trying to convince everybody that this person's really great and no one's giving them what they want in the conversation of no, we also like him or her. So they keep talking and they're trying to sell them to you. And the audience is just not really having it. The friends are just okay, if you say so, right? That's how I feel with the insecurity that radiates off Dave Rubin as he's trying to talk to Jordan Peterson about why basically conservatives should like him more.
Well, he's trying to make the argument that conservatives should like him more. But the other part of the problem he has is that he's arguing my marriage, speaking as Dave Rubin now, and my adoption of my children are really illegitimate. And we should reverse these things. I mean, that's where the logical conclusion of what he's saying, that by allowing gay marriage, we now have just basically unshackled society where gender is fluid.
And from the perspective of those people, it's not just gay marriage. Dave's having kids. He's raising kids with another man. And they had a big, long part in that with Jordan Peterson. And is is this even possible? Well, you're going to fundamentally lack, and you have to be really careful, right? They poo-poo that idea that's even possible.
And the kids are being born via surrogate, right? Yeah, that's the case. Another layer of that of unnaturality for conservatives.
I mean, Rubin, it really, we're getting into incredibly despicable territory for what Dave Rubin is doing, because they're coming for gay marriage and they're going to come for gay adoption as well. It may take a couple of years, but Rubin's still a young guy and they're coming for, talk about being a capo. This is what we're looking at now.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there trying to sort of walk this tightrope with I'm one of the good ones. I'm one of the good gays that, was honest about why I wanted to get married.
Yep.
Not only is Rubin deluding himself, and of course he has to because all of his ability to make money is predicated on that. And he already went public with the fact that he was adopting, surrogating children.
Yeah.
And he thinks that he can protect himself, but throw everyone else under the bus.
Yep.
It's gross. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
There are historical models for this. Like I said,
Candace Owens is a living example of somebody who, I mean, like the right wingers who are a part of the groups that the right wing hates. They feel the need to overcompensate with every breath. So, I mean, we played a clip yesterday where she, out of the blue, mentions how there was no abortions during slavery, right? There's a reason.
Right, because they were trying to, that was like a product development.
Yes, yeah. and there were, by the way. But she goes out of her way to do that because she knows that she has to, like, every other 3 words say to their audience, no, this is your beliefs are actually valid and I'm one of the good ones. And Dave Rubin's just doing that for gay people as he throws trans people under the bus.
Yeah, and it's not just trans people. Of course, he throws them under the bus multiple times, but it's also, he talks about how he met his partner at Gay Pride. And he's like, it wasn't like it is now, all the crazy stuff. And also, he was wearing an American flag. I don't know if you could even do that anymore at Gay Pride. And I mean, yeah.
Well, I got to say, though, I do think that in many respects, someone like Rubin is going to be, it's going to be even worse. It's even worse because there, you will have a continued, amount of racism, but Candace Owens will always, if she stays this, she will always be protected because they do need her voice. But at one point, it's going to turn on the right, and Dave Rubin is not going to be protected. There's nothing he can say that is going to be protected. He will have to go through conversion therapy. He will have to pretend that he doesn't have children. He will not be accepted as is. And like I say, it is maybe a year out, maybe 2 years, maybe 5, maybe 10, but he cannot exist. His life cannot exist in this Republican Party. And he doesn't understand that he is not only is he watching the trains head in that direction, he is pushing them. Mm-hmm. He is greasing those rails. And it's disgusting.
He gets paid a lot of money in the short term to grease the rails.
It really is something.
The rope
to
that
watch.
he's hanging himself with is like made of gold, but he's still doing it.
Yep, it really is stunning at this point. He doesn't see what's coming, or he's just afraid to realize it.
Or he's cashing out while he can.
He's gripping as hard as he can to pay that mortgage.
Where should we go here next?
See, like that Rubin clip should have been funnier, but we're in such a depressing time that it's just not.
Well, Rubin is becoming becoming a different kind of figure now.
Yeah,
he really is.
Well, actually, DeSantis sent him baby presents, 2 onesies for the kids.
Well, I can't wait for that to be deployed against DeSantis.
Yeah.